Hello, everyone, and welcome back, or thank you for popping in for the first time. Hopefully, it's not the first time. Just spending a little bit of time today speaking with Leighton Watkins, who works in our new business team. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Lucy, and I'm one of the co-founders of Mazuma. Founded Mazuma when I was 23 in 2006 to deal with the issue of small and micro businesses not getting a great service from the accountancy profession. And we've been at the forefront of the revolution in accountancy ever since. But I'd like to introduce you to Leighton, who works in our new business team. So, hello, Leighton.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Can't complain. It's Monday, sunny, and it's been a good day on the sales.
Excellent. Yeah, Leighton works in our new business team. So, I'll tell you what, you'll explain it way better than I do. Tell me about, or tell everyone who's watching about what you do in a day and what your job is.
Yeah, so essentially, a day for ourselves within the new business team is lots of phone calls and emailing. So this will be from various lead sources to the business, whether it's through a Google ad, a quote, whatever it might be. There's people out there deciding whether to be a sole trade or limited company. So we have a quiz on our website that establishes which they should be. They can book calls in with ourselves. So then they go through exactly, the questions they have for us, and we can kind of help and support them in that as well. So it's a busy day. It's a fun day because you get lots of different characters on the phone, lots of different conversations. But yeah, all in all, it's great because these are small businesses that kind of are the backbone of the country, if you like.
Great. And for those people who may not recognize your dulcet tones, your accent, where are you from?
My subtle tones are from the valleys in Swansea, so a place called Ystrad Gynllais. So I dare anyone outside of the valleys to try that after 3 or 4 pints.
And you are a Welsh speaker.
I am indeed. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr. Great. So yeah, so Leighton sits on our new business team. And basically, I think what you spend most of your time doing is speaking to small businesses, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's small business owners, so sole traders, limited companies. That's what we specialize here at Mazuma, in servicing the conversation we have on a daily basis is business owners who want to get the most from their business. And I think there is times where we have the horror stories where people come to us because, their accountant hasn't done a job. We've had instances where the accountants have done a runner. So we do have the instances where we get the bad news, but we do share some good news with them because when they come on board with Mazuma, it's almost as if the stress and everything, disappears because, we're a reputable brand within the industry, 16 years in the making. And because they put their faith in us, and the success stories that we have within Mazuma with clients, we get them back on the front foot with HMRC because let's face it is a stressful time for any business.
Yeah.
They receive those little brown envelopes, and I always describe it's like driving with a fully compliant car and the police are behind you. You've still got that little bit of nervousness if they're going to pull you over. So yeah, day to day, it's establishing relationships with small businesses and giving them the comfort that we can help them progress and grow.
I love that car analogy. I always get really freaked out if the police are behind me. I know I'm doing nothing wrong, but you're like, oh no, what have I done?
100%.
Yeah. And do you know what? Actually, the brown envelope thing's right because HMRC do send these brown envelopes out. And even myself, who's been an accountant for 20 years now and has been running Mazuma for 16, if I get an envelope from HMRC, there's still a tiny bit of me that's nervous
Well,
when I open it.
I've always thought they should just do different colours depending on how serious it is.
Like red, orange, green.
Yeah, exactly. So rather than just having just one brown envelope, I admire them for their consistency, but maybe a colour-coded system would be better for people's palpitations for their heart.
It would save a lot of time. If it was green, you'd be like, oh, that's all right. I can leave that. Yeah, I'll put it forward at the next roundtable, I guess.
Perfect.
Brill. So when you talk to small businesses, what's the overwhelming thing that kind of leaps out at you that you hear on the phone? Like, what are they talking about when they ring us? Because they found us online or someone's recommended us to them and they're obviously looking for a solution. So what are they talking to you about?
The truth is, the majority of the conversations we have on a day-to-day basis, I think most people don't have any clue when it comes to the accountancy. I've always felt that people that have small businesses are tough on themselves because accountants, it can take up to 7 years to become an accountant.
Yeah.
So if I put that into context, if you start training today, 7 years later, you will know everything to do with the accountancy side for a business. That's a long time, let's face it. You can get degrees in shorter spaces of time. You can learn to drive. There's lots of things you can do in under 7 years. So I think small business owners are tough for themselves. And the questions, that we get day to day is, I think people are conscious of keeping it compliant, but of course making it successful. So what's the best entity for them? Is it a sole trader? Is it a limited company? And just getting the right advice and help for that business, depending on what it is, because every business is different. Let's face it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you said there about businesses being hard on themselves. I think that when you start a business, I know I've been there, you feel like you should be everything all the time to everyone. So
Yeah.
you feel like you should be the CEO, the post room lady, the cleaner, the marketer,
Yeah.
the accountant, the health and safety advisor, and you can't do it all, right?
Exactly, and the way I describe Mazuma to our clients or potential clients is imagine outsourcing your accounts department. So everything to do with your accountancy is now going to be outsourced to Mazuma. I think what that does for, especially we're experiencing lots of people starting businesses at the moment, it seems, just because of the economy probably and multiple sources of income.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what that does for them is, it allows them to develop that much quicker,
Mm-hmm.
because if they've got an accountant on board and a good accountant, they'll get the answers to the questions, they make the right decisions, which will accelerate the business's growth that much
Yeah.
more, and make sure that, everything, I call it like tightening all the bolts, making sure all the bolts are tightened down so it's compliant and they're getting the most from the business then.
Right. So if it can be quite tempting as a business owner to have a go at things yourselves. And in the same way that I probably wouldn't try and cut my own hair or plaster my own house, there are potentially things we shouldn't try ourselves. Slightly leading question, but given that you've probably spoken to a few people who've tried to do some of this stuff themselves, how does that go?
Well, you tend to find a lot of people that sign up to Mazuma are 1 year in, so they've
Mm,
done it themselves. They've had the horror stories, they've made the mistakes, and they've gone, do you know what? Just take it from me.
yeah.
And that's literally how some people describe it. Is like, I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Mm,
Because we do the bookkeeping for them, we send them the monthly management accounts. That's their business in a nutshell. That's the
yeah.
facts and the figures. So by giving them that, they're able to eyeball it, once a month, speak to their accountant on any matters. And of course, it simplifies it, because that extra time, and especially after COVID, I think a work-life balance is a bit more on people's radar.
Yeah.
So the way I say to them is, yes, there's a cost to the service, but it's a service can actually give you time back, because that time you spend doing your bookkeeping and trying to figure out from Google where I need to file this and do that, what it does, it affords you that time back to your business or a better work-life balance, whether that's with your family and loved ones and friends.
And it's our only truly finite resource, time. It's the only thing we are definitely going to run out of in our lives is
Exactly.
time. That's it. So why
Yeah,
would you spend it doing stuff you're not brilliant at or don't or shouldn't be doing?
exactly. And I think what people should appreciate is when an accountant does bookkeeping, it's like watching a professional athlete play sport, because they punch those numbers in as quick as anything you've ever seen. Whereas, somebody just starting their business and it only takes one slip of a wrong digit and all your
Yeah.
figures are out for the year. Then you've got to try and figure out when that was. The monthly service we offer, I think, it kind of keeps people. The terminology I use is on the front foot. And I think
Mm,
any business, if you paint the picture of being on the front foot, I think that's any business would agree. Yeah, I'd like to be in that position, please.
lovely. Love that. So just to kind of round out then, if you were talking to somebody on the phone and they were umming and ahhing, they weren't sure, not necessarily Mazuma, but they were umming and ahhing and they weren't sure whether they were going to get an accountant or not, or whether they should do it themselves for a bit to try and save some money. What advice would you give a small business who is thinking about hiring an accountant?
I think the things to consider, number one is a tax deductible expense. So it's an
Mm,
expense to your business that's tax deductible.
mhm.
Um, if you're going to go into court, you're probably going to hire a lawyer. If you're going to go, like you said, to get your head, then you're probably going to go into somebody you trust, and they're probably not the cheapest. Um,
We saw a lot of lockdown haircuts, didn't we?
yeah, 100%. Myself included, actually shaved off my beard and my hair. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
that was terrible news, and those photos have been burnt, and yeah, they're in the valleys in a tin can somewhere burnt. But anyway, yeah, I think the main thing for businesses is to start off on the front foot, as I said. So by getting a professional accountant on board, and one thing I did want to bring up is it always fascinates me. People will ask the question, so are you going to give me tax efficiency advice? And I say to them, that's what a good accountant does. And
Yeah.
usually those are the kind of not the horror stories, but they haven't had the service they should have.
Yeah.
A true accountant should maximize your business's potential, because accountancy is facts and figures. It's the black and white of the business. The accountant can, give you the right options then for the business to be tax efficient or whatever it might be, accordingly. But yeah, I think a lot of small businesses will go, this expense, do I really need it? If somebody's watching this and they're about to think of a business, incorporate the expense of an accountant into, the setup of it. And then it almost doesn't exist then, because you've incorporated it, rather than, 6 months later.
Yeah.
I think a good accountant's worth their weight in gold. And our clients at Mazooma obviously appreciate, what we do for them on a daily and a monthly basis.
Right. Lovely. Well, I'm sure you've got plenty to be getting on with. I will leave you to crack on with your day, but thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by and have a little chat. This has been Leighton, who's on our new business team at Mazooma, so feel free to get in touch with him, give him a call, and I will catch up with everyone else later. Thanks very much, Leighton.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.